Hi, welcome to Undead Yarn. My name is Heidi. You can find me as Knitty Girl on Ravelry and Knitty Girl 1 on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. How are you guys doing? I am a little under the weather, but I do need to podcast. Spring break, this is my last day of spring break. Go back to work tomorrow. Oh, this is episode 64. You might want to know that. I have some tea over here, so I am going to be drinking it occasionally while I am doing this since I'm not feeling the best. This is chrysanthemum tea. I think I've talked about this before. You can find it at an Asian market. I love it. It's really good. Okay, so why don't I go ahead and get started? I have two works in progress. Let's see. I may not show this again, and I think I'm just showing it because it's really, I really haven't worked on much in the last couple of weeks. I started a scrappy sock yarn blanket, and I'm guessing I'm probably going to make it for my pets because the colors are, look, I mean, I messed up here, and this is crazy looking. This is hand spun mostly, this side, and this side is random yarns. I'm thinking I'm gonna, I don't know, I might either, I don't know if I can sew them together. I'm not sure. I'm gonna put them together side by side, and I'll probably give the blanket to my dogs because it's weird looking. I guess that's why I'm not really a big sock yarn blanket fan, but I will use up my scraps. And the hand spun that I used in this, I don't know that I could have used it for anything else because it was really crazy single plies. Except for this down here. This down here was not crazy single plies, but a lot of this up here were crazy single plies from that roll lag I made a long time ago that I spun, and I put too much stuff in it, so it ended up looking funny. It's not, was not that attractive. So anyway, I worked on that, and then I started yesterday. Where did I put it? Over here. Hold on. I started yesterday a new sock, and I love this. There's Eastery colors. And this sock yarn is by Andresu Knits, and I don't have the tag in here. I can't find the tag right now, but it's by Andresu Knits, and it's alpaca and merino and nylon. And I want some really warm socks, and I love the colors. Remind me of Easter, so I thought it was appropriate to use right now. And I'm using my Chigoos. I love my Chigoos. The only problem is I'm one of those people that moves. I push with my finger when I knit socks. I don't do it when I knit other things, but I do it a lot when I knit socks, and I seem to be poking I don't know if you could see it, but my finger is kind of a mess right now. You can kind of see it. I've just been poking my finger, so. But I do like my Chigoos because the cable and the sliding is very nice. I like that a lot. So those are the only things that I've worked on. Besides, I have a finished object, and I wish the camera doesn't really do the yarn justice. This is my Undead yarn, and this is the Mardi Gras Roadkill colorway. If you go on Ravelry, you can see it much better. It's really pretty. That's a little bit better. It's mostly green. And it was a roadkill because when I was dyeing my Mardi Gras color, I wanted it to be mostly purple, but this one came out mostly green. And the end of the shawl needs to be blocked. I haven't blocked it yet, so that's why it's rolling up. But it's already such a nice size. I'm not going to block it too aggressively because it's a great size. And this is the Mother of All shawl, and it was by Nick. I can't remember his name. I said it last week though. It's by a male designer, And I enjoyed knitting this. The thing is, I needed something that was not too difficult. So I picked this because it didn't look like it was going to be really hard. But it did have enough variation in it that I had to pay attention. So it wasn't, it was definitely not a boring knit, but it was just about right. Okay, and then I did bring over the spinning that I meant to show you guys a couple of weeks ago that I kept forgetting to bring with me. This is, I had fun spinning this because I've never spun Jacob before, and this one I used my little tags that I got at SSK from Lemon Half. And I had put the wrong, this is what it is. I don't know if you can really tell. This is Jacob and this is Knitter's Nightmare. And I don't think I put the colorway on there. No, I just said it's Knitter's Nightmare. I love this. And look at the colors. Sadie does a great job with her dyeing, and she actually has started dyeing again. She has the Yarnivore podcast. Is it Yarnivore or Yarnivorous? I think it's Yarnivore. But she has a podcast, and she is a dyer, and I really like her sense of color. She puts colors together that you don't always expect. And I really enjoyed spinning this because I've never spun Jacob before, and I think I've told y'all I'm trying to try different wools. I find that really fun and interesting. And this is just a 2-ply. I haven't done anything but a 2-ply with my spinning, and I've been spinning for quite a while. I need to challenge myself, but I find I like spinning for the it is relaxing, I think, and I just like to see what the fiber does. So I haven't really challenged myself. I've tried to do the chain plying, and I'm not good at it. So basically, I've just done everything I've done is 2-ply. And then I also don't know if I mentioned this. I put it on Instagram though. This is not blue. This color is very purple. And it's showing up blue. It is a very dark purple, little tiny bit of blue in it, but really it's very purple. This is Vice, and I bought this a couple years ago at the Yellow Rose Fiber Festival, and it's 100% merino, so you know I enjoyed that because I love spinning merino. It's so wonderful. And I don't remember if it's superwash or not. I probably should check that before I decide what I'm going to do. But I don't know. With hand spun, I don't think I would want to put anything hand spun in the washing machine. So I don't think it matters if it's superwash. Well, unless I make socks, but I'm not going to make socks with this. It's too thick. This is more like a worsted. And I think this one, yeah, they're both more like worsted. I spun these long draw, and when I do long draw, I tend to have a fluffier outcome. When I do worsted spinning, then I can get really thin yarn, but when I do the long draw or woolen spinning, I get more bulky. So those are my hand spun that I've been meaning to show you guys. So that's all I have for my projects that I've been working on. The past few weeks have been really nice. I had spring break. Like I said, this is the end of my spring break. The first weekend of spring break, I went to a new yarn shop, and it's called A Sheep at the Wheel. And I tried to find them on Ravelry, and I don't think they're on Ravelry. So I may just have to put a link to their shop, like a web link, so you guys can look at it, because I don't think they're on Ravelry. And I bought, it's a small shop, but it's really cute. And somebody had said they love the name and the logo. They do have bags. At this point, they're not online selling, but it looks like they're planning to eventually. So if you like that logo in that bag, you could probably buy it from them. They have tote bags, and they're very cute. And I found I was looking around, and it's not a big shop, but they have some good stuff in there. They have I love their needle selection. They had carbons, and they had hayahayas, and those are my favorites. I think they had some other ones, but those are the ones I remember because I was glad they were there. There aren't many yarn shops around here that carry. I don't think there are any. Maybe there might be one or two that carry hayahayas, but I was pleased to find those in there. And I also found some Regia Arnie and Carlos, and I've always wanted to try that, so I had to buy a ball. I'm probably going to make some Rose City rollers out of these. I don't know if it has a colorway on it. Let's see. Fall Night. This color is Fall Night, and you can see it's a little bit of everything. It's got black and blue and orange and red and some white in there. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these knit up. I think it might knit up like the sock because the colors are pretty similar. And I don't normally like patterned socks, but I really do like the style of the Arnie and Carlos ones, so that'll be fun to knit. Then I also bought some hayahayas. I got size 3 hayahayas, and I got it with a long cord so I can use it for knitting a shawl. I've started buying a lot more long cords because I love knitting shawls, and I've found that the 32-inch, I think that's kind of standard. I use the 32 inches for when I do Magic Loop with socks, but I find that the 32 inches aren't always long enough for the shawls, so I've been getting some longer ones. And then I also bought some Juniper Moon Farm, and I was drawn to this color. I don't know why. I guess it's just really pretty red. And so I picked it up, and I realized it was the last one. So this is 75% alpaca and 25%, it says polyamide. I'm guessing that's like either polyester or nylon. So, and it's 461 yards. I'm probably going to make socks with these too. I really like alpaca. I think and I have some alpaca socks, and I think that those socks might be almost 100% alpaca because they're really fuzzy, but they're really warm and they're soft. So I'm probably going to make another pair, and that yarn by Andres Who Knits has alpaca in it too, and I don't know why, I just think that those will be really warm socks. I may find that they pill and it may annoy me, but we'll see. I'm going to try it anyway. Oh, I wanted to also talk about, well, that was the first weekend, and then after that, South by Southwest was going on, and my husband does the interactive every year. And it was amazing. This year they had Barack Obama came down, and he was one of the keynote speakers. And my husband didn't get to see him. I think usually they let people who have badges see whatever they want, but I guess because this was a special thing, you had to go put your name in a lottery or something if you had a badge in order to get into the room. So he said he actually just watched it last night because they taped it. He didn't sit outside and watch it, I guess. I don't know if they even had screens. I'm not sure how they did that. And I think it might not have been, I don't know if it was even on location where South by Southwest is. But anyway, and then for the music part, his wife, Michelle Obama, came, and she spoke with, and I'm looking forward to watching this. I haven't watched it yet, but she spoke with Queen Latifah and Missy Elliott, and there was another lady that I don't recognize, and they were talking about educating girls. We really need to make sure women get educated all over the world. There's still a lot of countries where they don't get educated. And I believe that there's a song that they put out together I don't think Michelle Obama's singing on it, but I think there's a song that's being put out that's going to be used to raise money, I think. But I have to go back and watch that. So anyway, now that I totally got off on a tangent there, I just thought that was interesting that that Austin was able to get them to come here to speak during the event. South by Southwest is actually a very big event. It's for interactive. They also have an education portion, which is really small, and it's actually before our spring break starts. And then they have a music section and a film section. And this year, actually every year, I like to go down for the music section, or the music part, and my husband comes with me. And it's really fun. We get to check out a lot of new bands. When I was a kid, I used to listen to music all the time. Instead of watching TV, I'd be in my room listening to music. So I've always been a big music fan. I don't listen to it as much anymore. I guess because I think as you get older, maybe you don't like the radio so much anymore. But I still do enjoy. This is, I guess, how I catch up. Going to South by Southwest and hearing new bands. So that's what we did that's pretty much what I did the last few weeks. I wanted to mention that the Shawl Along is going on until the end of the month, and that is with Andre Sue Knits, Pen, Hook, and Needles, and Bookish Stitcher. And you can dip in all of our groups. If you have any shawl that you are working on and completed during the months of January, February, and March, you're welcome to enter into all 4 of our podcasts. We're all giving away different prizes. And I also wanted to mention that I'm going to be I've already opened a thread in the Ravelry group for the 1,000-member giveaway. We're up to 930, something like that, I think. So when we reach 1,000 members, I thought I would do something special. Normally I just pull from the introduction thread and give away a skein of my yarn, but since it's going to be 1,000, and to me that's a big deal. It's been 2.5 years, and it took me a long time compared to some other people, but I'm very excited that I have that many viewers. I don't know if I have that many viewers for every podcast, but I know that because I think there's so many podcasts now that people don't get to watch them right away. So I know people, I'll go back to my later episodes and find out that a lot more people have watched them. So I'm probably not having that many viewers at one time, but I'm so glad that y'all are in my group, and I really appreciate you watching my podcast because there's tons of them now. Just, it's incredible. And I've been remiss in watching a lot of the new ones. I tend to stick to the ones that I know already, and the people that I know, that I'm friends with, I usually watch theirs right away. But I have been trying to start watching some other ones because there's tons of them now, and it's always nice to find some new ones. So some of the new ones I've been watching, actually, one of my friends, Ann Podolsek, who is a designer and a yarn dyer, and she's been around for a long time, and I know I've talked about her before. She has Woolly Wonka Fibers. She has started a podcast. I highly recommend it. She has a lot of great information. She talks about things that are coming up in her with designing and with her yarns. And she also, the part I enjoy the most is when she talks about spinning, because she spins a lot. I suspect she spins every single day, but she always has a lot of really good information about how to put colors together, how to make things look the way that you would like them to do, too, with your yarns when you're spinning. So I would highly recommend going to check her out. She has beautiful designs. I think I've told y'all before, she's one of my favorite designers. Even though I haven't knit any of her designs yet, I plan to. A lot of them are very complicated, but they're so beautiful. And I'm totally getting off track here. I meant to talk about the 1,000-person giveaway, but I'll get back to that since I'm already talking about podcasts. And I also started watching Milkshed, and I don't know why I didn't write her name down, but I really am enjoying her podcasts. Her podcasts are a little bit longer. I usually, well, I can't say that because Pinhook and Needles always has a really long podcast and I watch that. So, but hers are probably like when I watch Pinhook and Needles, you have to I break them up. I don't watch them all at once. But she's really good. She's so cute. She says that she's not a sock knitter and she wants to be, but she's tried a lot of different things. And I think it looks to me like she's catching on quite well. And she loves to knit lace shawls, which I love to knit. What else can I say? Oh, I forget where she's from, but she just went on a trip and she went to Salt Lake City and she talked about some of the yarn shops that were there. So I'm thinking she lives in a different part of the country from me. So I've been enjoying her podcast, and then of course everybody has been watching the Grocery Girls, and they're a lot of fun. I really enjoy them. They have a lot of energy. I think one of them has been knitting longer than the other. The lady, Mrs. Brown's Bags, I don't think she's been knitting as long as her friend has been knitting, but they're helping each other, and they're very adventurous with their knitting. I really enjoy. I was watching an episode where they did felted mittens, and Mrs. Brown, the one who does Mrs. Brown's Bags, said that she was a fail, and her friend did a nice job. She did 2 pairs. They were Fair Isle, I think. It's definitely more than one color. They're very cute. Anyway, I highly recommend them. If you haven't heard of them, you probably already have, though. If you're watching my podcast, I'm sure you've already heard of them. They have, I think, about 5 or 6 episodes out, but they're just very, they're very enjoyable and they're a lot of fun. So I think that's why a lot of people have been watching them. Let me see. I wanted to show you guys. I believe I have it behind me. I did mention that there was 1,000. I opened up a thread for the 1,000 member giveaway, and so instead of pulling from the introduction thread for 1,000 members, I'm going to be giving away 3 different prizes, and I would like you guys to go to the 1,000 member thread and tell me what you like about the podcast you watch, or if you have a favorite thing that happened during my podcast, let me know about that too, because that's always fun to hear. Let me see if I have it right behind me. I'm going to look right behind me. Here it is. Good. I don't know if I have all 3 things. I might have them all. But this is one of the prizes I'm going to give away for the 1,000 member giveaway. It's a bag that I got from Hill Country Weavers. I think somebody at Hill Country Weavers put it together. And I think that the fabric was original. I believe I showed this last time. Looks like all the stuff is in here. Good. And I also have a skein. For those of you who have not had the pleasure of working with it yet, I have a skein of Mustache. I actually have several skeins, so I figured I can share some because I see Stacy a lot since we live in the same area and we go to a lot of the same shows, so I can always get Mustache yarns. If I want to, so I figure I can give this one away to one of you guys so you can enjoy it. This is an OCD skein, and it's Dark Side of the Moon, and this is 460 yards, and it's an 80-20 superwash merino and nylon, so it'll be nice for socks. And I also have, so here's 1, this is 2, so there'll be 3 winners. And the third thing is a pattern and enough yarn for this cowl. And the cowl is made with the luxurious Shibui Silk Cloud, which is 60% mohair. No hair. I'm sorry, I'm just cracking myself up. 60% mohair, 40% silk. So these are luscious, and this is going to make a nice luscious cowl that will go right next to your skin. So those are the 3 prizes. So if you're interested in winning one of them, go to the thread in the Ravelry group and tell me what you like about podcasts, or what you would like to, or something that you enjoyed about my podcasts in the last couple of years. It's been it's about 2.5 years, so in July, I believe. I think I started July 1st a couple of years ago. In July, it'll be 3 years. Wow. Okay, and all those prizes will be given away once we reach 1,000 members. And I wanted to talk about this book. I'm almost finished. I'm sorry. I said a lot and scattered today. I'm really not feeling that great. But I do want to get this podcast out. I finished reading Atlandia by Clara Parks. And I was listening to an interview with her on the Marley Bird podcast, which is Yarn Thing. If you don't listen to that podcast, you should, because she interviews great people. She was interviewing Clara, and Clara said that she was in the New York Times bestseller list under travel. She reached the number 5 spot. I'm wondering where it is now. That was a week or 2 ago, I think. Anyway, I would highly recommend this if you like to read books about knitting. The reason I like this book so much is that she talks about some of the places and things that we all covet going to, but maybe we haven't been. And she talks about those events and what's happened to her at those events and how things are at those events. And I think this book, I would actually probably will read it again just for fun, because I enjoyed reading it. Especially for me, I had fun reading this part about Rhinebeck, because I haven't been to Rhinebeck. And I probably won't go to Rhinebeck just because I grew up in that area, and I don't like crowds and I don't like cold, and those 2 things are massive. Massive in that. So I probably will never go to Rhinebeck, but I enjoyed reading the section about Rhinebeck. And there was also a section about Iceland I was really happy to read. That was so much fun. And actually, there's a funny twist in that one. I'm not going to give it away, but it's pretty funny. She talks about Maryland sheep and wool, and she talks about interweave. And then there's some other things that she threw in there that she talked about her working on Knitting Daily, which I've heard I think it's no longer, they're no longer filming, which surprised me. I thought that was still going on, but anyway, there were a lot of great little stories in here, and I liked it because I felt like, for the ones that I hadn't been to, I felt like I was able to live vicariously through Clara. Plus, I really like Clara Parks. I had a class with her, and we got to, be around her a lot while she was at the knitting retreat that I just went to, and she's a really lovely person. So I would highly recommend Atlandia. And it's on the bestseller list, so gotta be good. Anyway, I think that's everything. And with that, oh, no, there's one more thing. I did want to mention that I am going to be doing the Autism Awareness Knit-Along again with Pen, Hook, and Needles starting in April. And so I have put up, this is one example, but they all look different, but they all have the same autism awareness colors in them. I have put up pre-orders for this. And so it'll probably take me at least a week before I can get them going and get them out. But if you are interested in ordering some, that is up in the shop. And with that, I'm going to say get busy knitting or get busy dyeing.